Doing Time with Deputy Mike.
Welcome back to Doing Time with Deputy Mike. I'm your host, Mike, and today I'll be talking to three graduates from TCTC for media, find out what they've been up to. So without further ado, now I can't talk, let's move on to roll call. Grab your feet and take a seat. It's roll call time. Doing good today. So, if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jack Parker. I was graduated from this program about 10 years ago now. I do freelance video production and work mostly out of Cleveland, but I've traveled the country and gotten to work on a few different big projects for a lot of big companies.
Nice.
Hi, my name's Makayla Bloom. I graduated, I believe it was 2021 now, right after, basically the year after COVID. And after going to multimedia, I dabbled into computer-aided drafting, and now I'm an architectural draftsperson. So, yeah.
Welcome.
I'm Robert Carr. You can call me Bobby. I graduated in the year 2020, so when COVID started, and now I am a photographer over at WFMJ 21 News.
Nice.
My name's Antonio. I have not graduated yet. I graduate in the year 2026, and I'm a junior at TCTC Multimedia.
Welcome everybody to Doing Time. So let's move on and we'll go into interrogation.
Interrogation time.
So go ahead, Jack. Let's hear about what you've been up to and everything you've been doing.
Yeah, so I'd say from graduating, I just started to pursue like working on different sets and different productions and all sorts of aspects, like camera operation, lighting, sound design. Within the past 4 years now, I've been working for the NFL as the sideline broadcast TV coordinator, where I make sure the commercial breaks happen during the Browns games.
Nice. So, well, this is your team when you guys went to Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, that was my junior year. That was a good time.
All right. I believe we have some. Here we go.
Oh yep, that was going to DC for youth traffic safety with the National Organization for Youth Safety. They sent us out there to participate in their safe driving, distracted driving prevention courses, and it really made a big impact on me in the past 10 years of my life.
So, when you came into media, did you exactly know what you wanted to do?
Honestly, no. I just felt like I wanted to join a program where I could meet friends and pursue the passions, stuff that I like, and felt that this would be a good place to just get hands-on experience with cameras, and it kind of all just blew up from here.
Nice. So, what are we looking at right here?
Those are photos of me from back when I was helping out with the National Organization for Youth Safety. I would help with their different driving campaigns, and I think one of those is a photo of me speaking at a podium where I would just explain the structure of how our process works so I could kind of teach it to other students who were going through that same program. Now here I've got.
This is after you graduated.
Yeah. This is some projects. One of the main shows that I work on is Forged in Fire with the History Channel. I've done about 3 seasons with them now.
I've watched some of those.
Oh yeah. The first photo I got there on the left is that was the very first blacksmith that I worked with. He invited me back. He said, "Whenever you have a chance, come back and I'll let you make something with me, and we'll let you use my forge and make something." So we made these throwing tomahawks.
That's cool.
And that photo in the middle is from believe that was a University Hospitals commercial that was just the lighting setup and camera build that we'd done. So I just thought, I'll sit in and take photos. And it was a 4-day shoot, so I've got like day 4 there in the corner. And on the right there, it's a photo of me and my friend Amanda, who work for the Golf Channel whenever they have tournaments in town.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you stay in? I take you stay in contact with a lot of people you get to meet.
Normally, I try to, but it's that thing of when you work in video production, it's realizing that like a lot of the talent and whatnot, it's about being coworkers with them and just being cordial on set and trying not to be overly friendly with people.
But somewhere along the way, I'm sure you forged some friendships here and there.
Oh, definitely. I feel like friendships is honestly one of the driving factors of being able to continue to get work in this industry, where the more people you kind of meet along the way, or they're able to just like have you in mind and recommend you. And I feel like throughout the years,
build your career.
Yeah, of course. It's like throughout the years you're able to meet so many people that get to know you and like your style of work, and they recommend you for things that often you wouldn't believe, you know.
Is this one of the golf ones here?
Yeah, that's I think it's a photo from like end of day of doing one of the Golf Channel shoots. In the center there, I was doing a 3-camera interview for this banking influencer, and we were just putting some cameras together and setting things up, because that's one of the fun parts about freelance video production, is you kind of never know what the day's going to be until you get the call and just kind of book it, and like, all right, I guess we're shooting this interview this day, show up and figure it out. And that was one of those fun days.
Nice. Now what's the one on here on the end?
Oh, yeah, on the right there, that's the switcher system for. I also serve at my church, and I like to help out with video production there. I feel like it's one of my ways I can.
You're a very busy guy.
I am, yeah.
A very busy guy. Here we go.
That's that photo there is of me for my job with the NFL, where I have to keep track of the commercials, and it's just one of those things where I'm thankful to be able to be on the field and just be next to the action for something that I've loved for years, because I'm a huge fan of football.
So, what do you do like with the commercials? I mean, how do you?
So with that, I'll have a headset on and a clipboard, and I stand on the 20-yard line, and I kind of have the broadcast director in my ear, and we kind of navigate when would be a good time for us to go to commercial break, because we have to try to get a certain number in each quarter. Kind of like make it all happen. So
that's the whole thing. Like, well, of course, if you're at the stadium and they go into that little break, you're waiting for the commercial. And
yeah, during those times, like whenever it's in commercial break, we walk out I'm out like literally standing on the field, making sure I've got like a line of sight for the refs, and we coordinate so that way by the time that the commercial break is over, the players and the refs are set. Again. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on the far right?
On the right there, that's a friend of mine, Ian. He was one of the contestants for Forged in Fire. He went to do a quench on his sword there, and I happened to just be shooting like time lapse and like video on my phone, and right place, right time, happened to capture him going up in flames on the quench. But
what, that's him?
That's him, yeah. And it was only like a second. Like you wouldn't think he was on fire. And you talked to him. He was like, "No, it was just a quick flash." But
he wasn't hurt.
Right? No, he was fine. But
I thought it was like a statue.
I thought it was too.
No,
it's a real person.
No, it's my friend Ian. I just happened to capture the moment. The phone was recording at the right time, and
I imagine he has that framed.
He does. That's one of his favorites.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, yeah. Wow. Here we are back on the NFL field.
Oh, yeah. But it's one of those things where...
So do you get to meet a lot of the players then, off and on?
Not too often.
It's
one of the things where you run into people in the press box and just just throughout the building. And it's always cool when you get to see someone who's been there for way longer than you, who has a lot of experience and just are with the team that you're able to kind of just gleam and have a conversation with, you know.
Being on the field itself would be awesome.
Oh, it's
20-yard line. You got the best out. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right there. That's cool.
Now, this one here is from a show that's not really come out yet, so I can't say too much.
Okay.
But the that was it was a good time over the summer where I got to be the personal assistant for Joe Russo.
Is that on Little Italy?
Yeah.
Cleveland. I used to live right up the road
we-
from that.
That's actually what the show's sort of about. Actually, is
Yeah.
it's they go around and tour Little Italy's all across the country, and they were shooting
Nice.
the pilot episode. In
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
If only you still lived there.
Yeah.
You could have been in a shot or something.
I could have been.
But this is a photo of just like a 48-hour film competition that I did with some friends. It's one of those things where you always get to meet new people and get to put different projects together with different people, and it's always fun to just snap photos and be able to look back on just different things that you do throughout the year, you know.
It's very nice. And here we are. Well, I see COVID must be going on.
Oh yeah, on the left there, we were shooting a commercial for it was like the Kettering Health Hospital system down in Dayton, and we had to be very precautious, just dealing with all of the medical requirements and making sure we were masked up. Yeah, there was a decent portion of shoots where we just had to be masked up for a lot of things during COVID, but
Yeah.
that was one of the things of working in the industry before and then after to just get a sense of that. And,
I actually like your picture on the right.
oh yeah, that's
That's a good picture.
I'm holding an Alexa Mini, I think LF. It's a decently priced camera. I think for that one I was shooting a commercial for the hockey company Bauer. We were just doing like a promotion for, it's like a Bauer gives back kind of kids day. We
Okay.
just got to give out a bunch of hockey gear to some kids in Columbus.
And
For this, that's a photo of the camera setup for this restoration show that I was working on. One of the perks of the job is you get to fly with certain shows. So I've got some photos from my trip to Montana last year. Just got like bottom left and top right there.
are you allowed to say what show this is?
I believe that was Forged in Fire, but I don't know if the episodes actually come out yet.
Okay. So they travel all over the place, don't they?
Yeah, for my job with the show is I'm like on the traveling team, where it's like a 2-person team that we go out and shoot the 4 days of the competition. That's Ken Gonville, the cam operator that I work with a lot on that show. He's it's one of those things where you become instant friends with someone, and when you keep working together, it's just always a blast. And it's one of those things where
Now, is the guy in the middle of the blacks, did he make the sword?
yeah,
That's pretty nice.
right. I don't know if that episode's come out yet either. So
Because we
it's-
can't really talk about that then.
Has anyone ever made you anything?
No, not yet, unfortunately.
No.
But it's one of those things where by the time that I show up on the show, they're already like focusing in on what the final weapon's going to be, and
Oh,
all of their
okay.
time kind of just is spent just trying to make that weapon.
So they
it's
haven't
like-
made you like a little souvenir yet?
No, not yet. But that's when I feel like the show's been really good though at like giving souvenirs for like end of season. And
Oh.
they're like,
I know. I was
Okay.
gonna say, once you're done with the weepon, don't you think they would maybe like, give you leftover weapons they don't need anymore?
Right. Nah, the material cost is a little pricey though when it comes to certain things.
Oh, I
But it
can
all
imagine.
depends on what they're making.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
They just sell it afterward.
So
Makes
it's
sense.
all they'll realize like what weapons they're gonna make on each episode.
Yeah, it's a whole sort of process that they have for it. I don't know if I can get really into it, but
Right.
they're very meticulous when they go about it.
Nice.
And for those photos there, that's a show that I work on called, I think it was Restoration Road, where we just go and record different. I think for this one they were building a structure, but I also had to go and film a couple different barns be torn down, and it's just fun to be able to shoot the process and be able to. It's only gonna be torn down once, so it's like you have to get the shot now, and those are always a fun day.
So you're constantly traveling?
It varies. I feel like if I have a show that travels me often normally, but otherwise I'm working here locally in Ohio. I feel like I do shoots in Cleveland, Akron, Dayton, Toledo, kind of all over. But it's one of the perks of just being able to work in professional video and be able to help out in a few different areas. Right here I've got this photo on the left is me with an easy rig, just a harness to help carry cameras and get those fluid motion shots. And on the right, I was the art director for this music video shoot, so I was just helping plan out the set and make everything look good against an infinity white wall. And yeah,
for a music video.
Yeah. I've done a few different music videos throughout my.
So like anybody famous? I mean,
well, I've worked for big bands, but not for their music videos specifically. Like, I worked on the 21 Pilots movie, like their live stream experience.
Okay.
I did like a week or two with them.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
I like 21 Pilots.
Right.
So that's pretty sweet.
And I also, I think once I worked with the Jonas Brothers for it's like the Macy's 4th of July extravaganza sort of thing. That was fun.
So, when you came into the TCTC, like, what was your expectation? What did you ever vision, like, your life being when you moved on?
Honestly,
if you had a thought.
Honestly, my dream was, like, if I could make movies and TV shows and just bounce around from different projects to be able to use the skills and the craft that I've like honed over the years in order to just help out and be able to be a part of cool projects. Like that was the goal, and I feel
it seems like you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
It does. I mean, that's you're all over the place, getting pretty much to do what you want to do. That's a good life.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to Makayla. And go ahead and tell us a little about yourself. And here we are in the COVID days. This is your senior year, correct?
Yes. So when I came to TCTC, I also didn't exactly know what I wanted. To give a little bit of background, considering that I'm an architectural draft person, not like a media person. Come on.
I know.
So I came in thinking I'd want to do video, which I do. I love editing videos. It's not what I do on the daily. I would love to do it more. It's one of my hobbies. But I had seen like all the BPA competitions, and I saw this one for computer modeling. It was model a whole entire school. And I was like, that's cool. I want to do that. So essentially, I kind of just messed around with this program like Tinkercad for a little while, like one night, and I brought it back. And Mr. Duran was like, "You did all of that last night?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, I don't know, I guess it must be the Sims and Minecraft I play so much. That must have been why I was so fast at it. But yeah, so I started to realize I had like an interest to 3D and specifically just like making buildings. And I guess for what I'm doing now, architecture type of stuff. So, but for this photo that's shown right here, this was actually, it was a 3D modeling. It wasn't necessarily, it was my branding competition, but I was actually able to include some 3D into it. So we had to create a project. So we made a project called the Mr. Spritzer, which during the COVID times, it was like a little, like a, you know, like when you go to the restroom and they have like the no-touch hair, like hand dryer or whatever.
Yes.
It's like that, but it just sprays you with like hand sanitizer around your hands. And it's like, so that way, you know, you're not touching a handle to get it out because
Right.
you can't risk it. It's COVID. So, you know, we created like this whole 3D version of it, like a prototype, and we did get first place in that competition. I think it was literally my favorite competition I ever
cool.
did. It was so much fun.
Well, that's right down in your, I mean, that's, what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Exactly. Here, this was a whole other side of interest. This was my Tom Holden competition. I had written a script. Oh my gosh, it's been quite a while since. It was basically about mental health. It was just like, I wrote a script about someone sitting on a bench and like people passing by and feeling like you're alone, and someone just like sits down on the bench and is like, it's gonna be okay. That's like the really, really not detailed description of the script. Anyway, I believe I got 3rd or 4th place in that. Yeah, and essentially I was able to come tour the WKVN studios. Sorry, Bobby, not WFMJ.
The competition.
And, yeah, but and then essentially they kind of recorded me saying a part of my script, and I was able to be on the news. They kind of played a portion of my script a little bit for a month or so. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was pretty cool. Now this was PBS. I was part of Student Reporting Labs. I was supposed to go to Arizona, but once again,
COVID.
yeah, so we had to create a news story, and I don't know, I think it actually was just the whole theme was something about COVID. I don't think I just specifically chose something about COVID. I chose my topic on essentially how COVID affects like climate change, how it's actually making the climate and like everything better, because people weren't driving as much and people weren't out and about as much. People were just like walking, and like I just felt like everything was getting better. And I also interviewed Michael O'Brien for that. That was pretty cool to talk to him as well. So yeah, that was PBS.
Now, what's the picture to the right?
Oh, that's my fluffy dog. That was a puppy at that point. That's me with my mom. Like I said, I probably would have had pictures of me at Arizona, but I had to take pictures for them to show on their website and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, okay, here you go. So there's my class, my senior year. Brianna kind of popped in the blue on the right there, last minute, because she was trying to get literally every certification she could fit until the bell rung. So I'm like, we're taking a group photo. She's like, I can't. I have like 10 minutes till this ends. I'm like, you're getting in the photo. And she like ran, and she ran back. But anyway, yeah, it was a good class. I enjoyed them a lot. But we're back to real life now, not
Back
in
to
the
real
past
life.
anymore. So I don't do as much 3D anymore because I'm an architectural drafts person. I actually get to go around measuring different places and doing 2D plans, actual drafting. And this was Niles Masonic Temple in Niles. It was crazy to measure this place. We're basically going to restore it because it's historical, and obviously you can see it's kind of run
Trashed,
down
yeah.
in there. Let's just say I think we were in there for 4 hours, and you saw me wearing like my little hat and stuff. It was freezing cold in that building. Once we got to the basement, I was like, it's so cold. But it was really cool to experience something like that, because I feel like, I know people are like, oh, it's trash, but it's kind of cool to see, like, think about what it looked like before.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And how
I mean,
How-
if you really look at the details.
look at the detail. Yeah, it's something so cool, and it's going to be really cool to bring this back
to
to
life.
life. And we're actually, I'm not allowed to say who, but they are going to turn to offices in there. They're going to put a little office space and whatnot. I can't say whose offices, but that's future plans. So yeah,
Have you ever been in a place that gives you strange vibes?
I will say no. This is the only like abandoned type of place
Place
I've
you've
been
been
to
in?
for work. So no, not really, actually. I've actually had pretty normal vibes all around. So that picture to the left, that is my office, Phillips Mechanic Architects. That was our Christmas party last year. Really like it there. It's great people. They all know so much. I'm gonna call myself the baby of the group. Everyone's a little older than me, but I'm learning so much from all of them, and it's been a nice learning experience. I know the next slide's gonna have more to talk about what's on the right, but we do a lot of franchises. I'm talking about those because I know that I'm allowed to talk about those. We do a lot of Paneras. That is Middleburg Heights in Cleveland, and that's just like a schematic, like first phase, sort of like 3D views. We had gone for that, and if you don't mind switching to the next slide. That is actually it in real life right now built. So it's really cool to see it actually come
to life,
together,
yep.
because I feel like a lot of the projects I've been working on, because I just started, 2 years ago. Well, I was an intern first, but technically 2 years. I wasn't their full-time employee for 2 years, but I haven't seen a lot of projects actually come to life. A lot of them are still in the building process. A lot of them are.
So you actually got to see your whole thing come to life, which is really cool.
I know, because it's like the hard work kind of pays off. I mean, everyone kind of touches every project in the office. It kind of moves around. But I know for this one specifically, we didn't go and measure. It was essentially we had an existing building plans, and I had to read all the numbers and like try to build it from scratch without actually being there. So that's always a little bit of a challenge.
They're building a whole new wing here.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, it'd be cool if you could get in on that.
I know. I'll have to let Phillips Mechanic Architects know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that. Or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
they did know that and it's top secret and we're not supposed to know. Maybe you
But-
just shared a secret.
Yes, we are adding on.
Really?
Well, you know, the school already encompasses 7.5 acres. So yeah, so
What are they going to do with it?
I believe it's attaching over to the D wing,
Mm-hmm.
and that all that parking lot and all that's being moved out because that's all going to be building. It'd be kind of cool if they hooked it, I thought, up into the adult ed wing, because that's all actually high school now
Really?
over there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we had homeroom over there and there were still some classes we had in that wing. 'Cause
Well, you know that we are actually freshmen through seniors now.
that's right.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that on Instagram a while ago. When
Yes.
did you guys make that switch?
Well, they started with early innovators like about a year or so ago,
Okay,
where
I
there
remember
was just
that.
like kind of a freshman thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been working towards it. Now this is the first year where we've got freshman, sophomore, junior.
That's
senior.
really sweet. I feel like
Yeah.
if I had this as a freshman, oh my gosh, that would have been so cool to be able to do this for 4 years. I would have loved it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool if you could got in on that.
Exactly. For real. I actually, before I talk about this stuff, because we're talking about stuff at TCTC, I will say I didn't actually touch these projects, but we worked on the kitchen and dining downstairs, which I think looks
The new one?
amazing. Yes, I think it looks
Oh, really?
really
That's-
nice in there.
Yes.
And then I'm not, like I said, I haven't touched this one either. I'm not sure how far along it is, but we were working on the equestrian barn as well. So,
It's almost finished.
okay, that's what I thought, because I think there might have been like problems with getting the roof on time. I think that was the main issue.
Yeah. So
So-
it's pushed beyond. Well, there's
Yeah.
there's the kitchen there, I believe.
I remember what it looked like when I first started here. It's like insane to see how much it's
So
changed.
much has changed.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. In fact, yeah, they're down there working now, which is kind of cool. Because Mr. Duran got cameras in there, so now you can watch them
Yeah, spy them.
actually cook and spy.
We can start a cooking
Make sure
show
they're
without
washing
them
their hands.
actually knowing.
Now
Yeah.
they do know that stuff down there, but it's
Yeah.
so cool that this program here is really expanding out through the school.
Yes, I agree. Just like highlighting everything going on. And I think that's important to like see how cool like what everyone else is doing. You know what I mean? That was one of my favorite parts when I was a producer for TCTC time, was like going to all the different programs. But like, so what are you guys doing? And what are you guys
Yes.
doing? And really highlighting. So
It's cool having you three here because seeing like how you've spanned out and expanded what you came to school for,
exactly.
which
Yeah.
is really neat.
Oh, I haven't talked about this yet.
No, we
so
have not talked about
a new franchise we are working with is Long John Silver's. So this was in Brooklyn, Ohio. We're basically just, doing the modern look for everything now. So we're remodeling the inside, remodeling the outside. They have like this retaining wall outside that's like dying. We're going to give it that term, dying. So we're going to fix that. So those are just some existing conditions pictures. Yeah, we just go around, make sure we have all our pictures, because we try not to drive all the way back, because like I said, this was in Cleveland, which we could drive back if we needed, but
That was that for that one.
yes.
But all right.
And so, and actually we're doing some more. We actually just went on a work trip to West Virginia and also Kentucky, and
Really?
we measured all of those as well. So that was my first ever work trip. I mean, that was technically a work trip, but we, drove 5 hours away and 5
I
hours
actually
back.
thought Long John's have all closed.
Really?
I also thought that.
Yeah, I don't
No,
think we
they're
have
open.
any.
I know they're not around here. There was the
Yeah.
one on Elm Road, but
Yeah, it's
that's
now gone.
So I don't know what the closest one is. Maybe it's the Cleveland one, but
Could be possible.
yeah.
Could be possible. I mean, they never said anything about ever shutting down or anything.
No,
so.
they're just boop, gone.
Yeah, just
I guess the one here just wasn't hidden for anyone. My mom was really sad when it closed though. Like I remember
A lot of people were. It's like,
it was
This
there
is their
for a while.
yeah.
It was there for like
Listen,
10 plus years.
That thing was there when I was a young kid.
Oh wow.
Well, I hate to say when I kind of remember it going in, but yeah, I mean it's been on Elm Road for a
Was.
long time.
I just thought they just made it.
Not
like
that
a
I'm
few years.
ancient.
Yeah.
I'm not ancient. But
I don't even think I've been to a Long John's before.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, before that, I've never been to one because my mom was like, "I'm going to take you to Long John Silver's," because I've always been a picky eater growing up, and she's like, "You'll like hush puppies. It'll be fine." So she was driving me there, and all of a sudden she's like, "What? It's closed? Are you kidding me?"
you missed the boat. It's gone.
Exactly. So yeah, that was my one chance, and I missed it. So yeah, literally missed the boat.
Well, let's move on to Robert. Bob. Welcome.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead and tell us about yourself.
Well, these are some pictures that were taken of me while here attending TCTC. The Scrappers, it was a small internship I had working inside the booth, working the control rooms, doing the graphics, controlling some of the automatic cameras. I was with 2 other students at the time. The photo of me in front of the camera was when I was doing my own show, Bobby's Road Trip. Bobby's Road Trip was just
Legendary.
it was a short show that we used to do every week or so, or no, it was like once a month, where we would try and find a very unique place in Trumbull County. We would go there, shoot there, and then have an episode. We went to Cockeye Barbecue. We went to the world.
Middle of the world?
Largest McDonald's?
No, it was the largest horse and buggy.
Oh,
The largest
Largest
McDonald's.
horse
No,
and
that would be
buggy.
the Cavelli Center over there on
Yeah.
Market Street.
We went to, what was it? The center of the world?
Yeah, that I was saying the middle of the world. I was close enough.
The center of the world. We actually had filmed a whole episode of Bobby's Haunted Road Trip, but we ended up having to scrap that due to like a lot of complications we had that night. We had people not show up. We were running behind on filming. We kept batteries kept dying. In fact, my actual car battery died.
where was you?
We were on some country road.
Was it in Kinsman?
No, it was right
Okay.
between Vienna. It was like
You weren't on King's Graves. You were looking for Amy Boyles or the Hatchet Hollow or...
I know Hatchet Hollow very well. We were on some ghost track on like some old train tracks where
You were on King's Graves.
Well, it was at King's Grave. I don't know.
You were between... Did you go on the tracks?
No,
We won't-
no, we didn't
We
go
won't
on.
say that you illegally did that.
No, we didn't go on the
Bobby, what did we
tracks.
talk about before we started?
No, we didn't go on the tracks. We went on
So-
that weird road part we can
So
kind
you
of go
were,
over.
You
We couldn't even get to the tracks itself. It was like all the brushes and all the trees were just blocking it. We thought it
what
would be a
was
good
going
idea.
on? You should have been able to get to King's Graves and Amy Boyles. Amy Boyles is south of King's Graves, but
We might have just done a different
We
road.
should-
It was so.
so you were looking. You heard of the witch's house and all that. stuff?
I have heard of the witch's house. We couldn't go to that one.
That was behind the old Byro's house.
Yeah, I do remember that, hearing about that. I actually had a friend try to go there for his ghost hunting show, but that ended up turning him down. But we were trying to go for Crybaby Bridge, I guess, too. But I think that wasn't technically Trumbull County, so we couldn't
No,
go to
that's
that one.
not.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about the Amy Boyles area. Well,
Mhm.
one, there's something weird out there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But when I was a senior, we unofficially would hang out in those woods. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah.
Deputy Mike.
Yeah, well, but it's a strange place.
Oh yeah.
I would not want the bomb. Well, they sectioned all that off and sold off a lot of that property to these big houses, And I'm thinking to myself, I would never bought any of that.
No.
No.
Oh, they clearly just don't know the situation
But
over
that's
there.
interesting that your batteries
I
and stuff.
know. I was gonna say maybe. Would you think you would try and go there again, see if it happened again?
Well, I could tell you this.
Yes.
So, our old detective, when he worked in Brookfield, and they got a call for noise disturbance out in the woods.
Mm.
And then, like I said, you got Amy Boyle's here, Kingsgrave's north of it.
Yeah.
So that whole kind of area, it's all. But it was off of Amy Boyle, so they went in. There was a group of them, I think, about 4 or 5 cops.
Oh, wow.
And they heard, like, he always called it satanic music. It was rock. But it was like a heavy metal. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But they chased it around for like an hour, and then they're like, forget about it.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, they would get close to it. Like, say it was over here, and they'd get over there, and all of a sudden it's behind them. So they were running out around these woods for like an hour, and finally they're like, we're out of here. This is creeping us out.
Well, they had the whole UFO thing back in the 90s.
Oh, I was there for that.
My uncle was there for that, too.
I was out patrolling a couple of those nights. But
Yeah.
I didn't see the UFO. That was south of me, but yeah.
My uncle kept saying he kept listening to police cameras. He kept chasing the whole thing all up and down the roads. That was a whole other thing we were trying to see what we could do, but nothing ever came of.
Well, I do know I was not the one that made the television.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm good friends with her that they interviewed, but I would go over, like, I worked for Fowler,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and I would go over Brookfield dispatched for us. So I'd go over there and have some coffee and whatnot. And the now retired chief, he just retired, but he was a patrolman then. We're all there drinking coffee, and the UFO calls started coming
Yeah.
in. And Dan's like, oh gosh, because
I probably had the
back
same
in
reaction.
these days over in Sharon, it was called 3 Down by the River, which was it was Quaker State.
Yeah.
And they had the 2 big bars there. Well, they would have the big spotlight come on, which was 3 spotlight, like the big one with the 3 lights.
Yeah, that's like right behind my house.
Yeah.
I know where you're
So,
talking about. Yeah.
on a cloudy night, it starts spinning, and all of a sudden people are seeing UFOs.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh gosh, So he goes, all right, let me go out and look. So he goes out to the parking lot, and I'm kind of in the lobby, like I look out, and he's just standing there, and I'm sipping on my coffee. Come back in, we're talking. Finally, the dispatcher said, she's like, what's he doing? I'm like, I don't know, he's just standing there staring at the sky a minute ago. Well, as soon as we said that, all of a sudden, like, coming across the radio in there, you hear sirens, and he's screaming, I'm in pursuit. And he's heading, like, westbound down 82.
Yeah.
And we're like, look at each other like, what? And he's like, I'm in pursuit of some unknown object. And it was like right over the tree levels. And I don't know, it ended up going into Hubbard,
Yeah.
another one that went into Hubbard, and then it just
Disappeared.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They had cops
yeah.
from all around Trumbull County, state troopers. They were all running around that night.
oh, it
They
was,
kept calling the airbase, and the airbase was like, that's
Yeah.
not us.
yeah, no, they always deny everything. We don't know nothing.
Yeah, I guess so. That right there was, so actually, this is more of a hobby of mine. I like to sign up to do background characters for movies and TV shows. So this was for a documentary of a great train crash that happened in 1902 in Ashtabula.
Speaking of Ghost again.
Yeah, speaking
What
of Ghost
happened to the
again.
Spooky story episode. Come on,
I was
let's
about
go.
to say I
Well,
held back a month.
this crash here that he's talking about,
Mhm.
so actually it's supposedly a very haunted area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we weren't in that area. We were shooting
tried.
around it, yeah.
I tried to find the area, but it's in a very bad area here where it's like dangerous to be possibly at night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're like, well, I guess we're not ghost hunting here.
No.
But that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I even sent the picture to Duran where I was in full SWAT gear for a movie, and I was part of a SWAT team. I even got to kick down a door. I sent that picture to him. I did like the LeBron James movie shot in Cleveland. I
Yeah.
think you were on it.
Yeah, I
right?
had some friends on that one.
Yeah. The one photo is me at school shooting an art project what we had to do is we had to go to the Cleveland Art Museum. We had to pick a painting, and then we had to kind of recreate it with our own like story. So I chose the.
Now, is that for school here?
That was for
college?
school, for college. So I went to Tri-C over in
Okay.
Cuyahoga, over there in Cuyahoga Community College.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me too.
But that was one of the. Did you ever have to do this project?
For which instructor was it?
It was for Marion Bennett.
Oh, I did not do this one.
You did not do this one.
No. but
I thought
yeah.
it was new. I thought because this was during COVID. This is when I first got there, and in the class we had like 6 or so people, and then day 2 of the class, everyone dropped out except 3 of us.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just me and this one other guy that was working. So we had to it took us like 2 hours to put everything together because we had to put backdrops. We had to set the tables up, get the cameras, the lights. And even then, it still wasn't right. I had to contact, like, I literally pulled these 2 girls from a hallway that I've never met before. I'm like, hey, can you please be in this project for love of God? And they said, yes, sure. So I was like, thank you. And props to them. They were there for an hour and a half, so not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
Not too bad, but still, I felt bad.
Great for someone you just pull out of a hallway, you know?
I know, right?
You're like, I have 5
Very-
minutes, make it quick.
Very dedicated people. The other photo is me at my job. We were doing, so when the Canfield Fair starts up, we were there all week, nonstop. I was probably there that morning for about 3.5 hours.
Is that after your overnight shift?
That was during the overnight shift.
Yeah.
So I was there shooting the lives for the morning, for our morning show, setting up stuff for our noon show, and then setting up our tent that we had to be there to sign photos, give away stuff, all that fun stuff. So literally after I clocked out that day, I then had to go back to the fair and work an additional 4-hour shift.
Wow.
Yeah, nonstop.
Busy.
Oh yeah. That one, they're both technically at the Canfield Fair, but the one, the red one, was when they were doing this Canfield Scaregrounds. That is another morning show live that I was doing. In fact, that day was a very interesting day. Last segment comes up, and we're hearing all this weird stuff through our headphones. We're like, well, what's going on? I'm like, we can't hear the anchors, we can't hear the producers, we can't hear nobody. And we hear this, like, voice come out of nowhere. Is like, show stopped. We're like, great, we have this whole extra long segment. I'm like, guess we have to pack it up and go. And then I hear my producer just says, like, no, you're going live in like a minute. So I set everything up, and what we were doing was we were going through the whole haunted house. Our segments are usually 2.5 minutes. This was a 5.5 minute segment, and this was
You didn't know this was coming.
no, this was completely like out of the blue. They were going through it. Ended up looking really good, but this was a 45-pound camera that was on my shoulder. After I took it off, I had a new kid with me. I said, Randy, don't do this. You're gonna blow your back out, man. Just don't do this. I was begging all the actors, like, don't scare me during this thing. I can't jump. I can't do anything. You can I'll go through the whole thing by myself. Just don't make me jump. This is a very expensive camera. He's like, oh, we can't promise it. I'm like, for the love of, please, you cannot scare me. I'm like, I'll do it myself, but just don't scare me.
Well, you get spooked easily.
Yeah, I get spooked very easily, and that was.
He's out there looking for all that scary stuff.
I mean, I gotta put on a brave face, but come on. That was just us at the tent with anchors, and that was the entire morning show anchors that day at the Canfield grounds, signing photos, again, giving away stuff. The one girl in the middle I actually went to high school with. We actually
Really?
we graduated in the same class together. People next to her are both weather people, and Steve, I don't know if you guys seen our show, I don't know if you guys recognize any of the people, but
Well, my one son had his brother as a what was he, a teacher?
yeah, he's
Coach.
a teacher over at,
He was at Matthews.
he was at Matthews, and then his brother is more in Mahoning County somewhere. I
Yeah.
can't remember. I only met his brother once, but yeah, that is, like I said, when the Canfield Fairgrounds are in, we're there the entire week. Even Scaregrounds, everything they do, we were there nonstop. So this was an interesting day. I think you guys may remember the Realty building exploding.
Yep.
I remember that day specific. This is a lot of stuff that I go to. This is mainly the stuff I go to is spot news like this. This was a very interesting day. I wake up completely dazed, did my usual routine, and I'm in the middle of cooking dinner, and my buddy calls me. He says, like, hey, man, did you see the building explode? I was like, what building explode? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, a building exploded in Youngstown. And it was like Chase Bank, and I looked it up, and it was directly downtown from our station. We had our cameraman running out there with our cameras because it was just right down the street from us. We were running out there with cameras. Our main photographer, Pat, calls us. He's like, you guys gotta get it down here. You gotta get down here. The whole building exploded. Managers were trying to stop them from going over there because they couldn't confirm anything. They said, nope, we're going right over there right now. And it was just a giant mess. I get there early. I show up there on scene, and I was there. The families of people who were in there, they were just terrified because they didn't know what was going on. They were directly behind me. I was there getting video. I was there for 3 hours at the beginning. I was there. They sent in a reporter with me because they didn't believe me, where the families just didn't want to talk. They just didn't want to believe me, and I won't name any names. I had a reporter show up, try to get closer to the building. She hopped the tape, and I was like, I had my camera, and I went around it. She ended up getting yelled at. She ended up getting a little bit of trouble, and she put me in this weird position. She's like, get video right here, get video right here. I was like, no, I think I'm going to go back to my spot. I think I have a better spot. I was like, well, the 27's here. I'm like, no, I think I'm going to go back to my spot. Get back, edit the show. I ended up going back out there. We were just waiting for the whole building to collapse, really.
Yeah.
So we were there doing our morning lives, taking extra hits, getting extra video. I think that day was a 14-hour shift.
Wow.
That day. And that was just one of the things. I was also there during the train derailment. Not the night it happened, but the day after.
The day after.
Yeah, when the whole train derailment in East Palestine. Yeah.
That was a crazy day for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you went and exposed yourself to all those bad chemicals.
Well, it was a funny enough thing where what happened was that day I had an early morning shift. I ended up going to an FBI raid that morning in Columbiana County somewhere. I can't remember. I was there freezing cold. I was getting all this video, and I had the person who they actually were going to arrest come up to me. She's like, hey, do you want to interview me? I was like, yes, I would love to interview. I get everything set up. I get the mics checked. I am on her. I'm like, can you please just start off with your name and such. And I hear her father screaming at the both of us to get away from each other. He screams at me. He's like, don't come near her. He screams at her, don't go near him. What is wrong with you? And I got back and made everybody laugh. He's like, oh, yeah, this is one of the best things all day.
Yeah.
I get to Cleveland and visited friends. I look at my phone. I'm like, a train just derailed in East Palestine.
Wow.
The next day, I was there, press conference after press conference. A video, I was with a reporter named Corey McCrae. We were just there itself 14 hours, getting video of people at the schools, people evacuating. We got video of the lake, of all the chemicals in the water, all the dead fish. It was a very, very long day. Very long day. I had a photographer come out, meet me, replace me, and he gave us food and water, and we're like, we didn't even realize we haven't eaten all day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've seen some bad stuff.
Oh, yeah. See, I've been to my fair share of interesting things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Youngstown will keep you busy by
Oh, yeah.
itself. Oh. So.
The ghost, Kelly Pavlik. That was a morning live. I actually showed him an old photo of me of when I was like 8 or 10, and I showed it to him. I was like, hey, I took a picture with you all of them years ago when he came back to Boardman for a fight. He's like, oh, yeah,
That's
look at
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. It was very cool to kind of talk with him, get to know him a little bit, got to interview him, got to shoot his new, because that was a brand new studio,
Yeah.
new boxing place that he had just built.
That's right. That's his, right?
Mm-hmm. That was one of the newer ones. That's like on the border between Youngstown and Boardman. His daughter actually painted his whole mural of like the ghost, like just for him. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's go back. I didn't realize. See, I don't know where these pictures end and where they start. That's my only problem.
Now I have a flash forward to what to expect next.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That embarrassing moment. So, what do you think about all this? First off, what do you enjoy and what do you see yourself doing later on?
See, for years now, my friend, he's been working like on a game. And so I've been exposed to like all types of stuff, like editing videos, making his effects. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And originally I signed up for, what is it? It's the program downstairs that they design stuff. I forgot what it was called. But I signed up for that one. And then my mom told me, she's like, no, you want to do multimedia. I was like, okay. So she drove to the school before like they give us the letters to tell us if we were accepted or not. And she switched it for me, so... Now I'm in here.
So she did it.
Yeah, she saved me.
Did you like her decision at least?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
This is way more of like what I want to do.
Okay.
So, did your mom do the tour then?
No, but she went back on the website and read everything, and
came across this.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
I didn't want to interrupt you because I kind of have a similar story. My mom didn't choose for me, but I originally signed up for construction. Because I was interested, in like making buildings and stuff. And then I was there when the teacher was kind of explaining what's going on. He's like, I will let you know. Someone did lose a finger. And I'm like, I'm gone. I'm going somewhere else.
I've been doing construction, but for my friend's game, like I designed his buildings, his city layout. So I worked a little bit in Blender, but I'm not that good at 3D modeling.
You'll get there. I was going to say, depending on where you want to go with it. I use a program, Revit. It's really cool for what I do. Obviously, if you're just like making games, I don't think Revit's the best option for it.
Yeah.
Essentially, like Revit, when you're in like Blender stuff, whenever you make like walls, you have to you have your gray square, your gray cube, and I forget. Can you paint surfaces in Blender? You can,
yeah.
Right? Okay. So, essentially in Revit, you essentially have a section for walls, and when you go into the walls, you can kind of pick your sections of the wall. Like I'm gonna put plywood here with that thickness, and have our stud wall here with that thickness, and then have your IFIS here with that thickness.
Yeah.
And it creates the thickness for you, and you kind of draw in 2D, and then you go into your 3D view, and you add your heights, and it's pretty cool. So, yeah. And you can do 3D renderings with it too. I haven't had too much experience with that. A lot of my coworkers do that more than me because I'm just trying to learn actually how to 2D draft, and then eventually I'll make my way back up to doing more 3D. But it's pretty cool. So
yeah.
But you can go on with what you were saying. I just thought we kind of have the same kind of story. Like we both went into something that was completely probably not going to be for us, and then we ended up here. So yeah, it's very versatile here. So
I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. Like right now I'm in user experience. Like where we're gonna work with culinary, they're gonna make their menu up so we can get pictures of it. Okay. And so we're using that for BPA, and then I'm in the virtual branding. I think you did that one.
That was a very fun one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, it's called Sweet Souls. It's like a new line of shoes we're doing. Okay. So we just got a design for it. I think I saw your branding guidelines, updated it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't really know what I want to do yet.
You'll figure it. You're a junior. You'll figure it out. You'll learn what you like and what you don't like.
Because all you guys went in all different things.
Exactly. I will say, even though I went into architectural drafting, we still use Adobe products actually.
Yeah.
We use, when we do 3D renderings, we still edit the render with Photoshop. We use InDesign. We still use a lot of that stuff. So I feel in a lot of jobs nowadays, a lot of your certifications can still apply in places where you might not expect. So yeah. I would probably keep that in mind, especially your senior year when you're working on those certifications. So, yeah.
What's really cool is, though, you guys have all crossed paths kind of out there in the real life.
Yeah, I know you guys were saying you guys met at the mixers and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It was by accident, too. I think I just walked up to you. I'm like, hey, what's up?
And I was just like, oh, WFMJ.
Yeah.
I recognize this because, being in Cleveland after coming from Youngstown, Trumbull County area, it's
it's new.
Yeah,
it's new.
It's always fun to see something familiar from where you grew up, just like an hour away. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, we just started going back and forth. I'm like, hey, where'd you go to school? I'm like, oh, cool. I went to TCTC. He's like, I also went to TCTC. He's like, who'd you have? I'm like, Mr. Durant. I also have Mr. Durant. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
We should be brothers.
Yeah.
I was like, where'd you go to college? Tri-C. I'm like, wow.
And now you've met someone as a further contact that might be able to help you out on your way.
Yeah. In your guys' first year, did you kind of like find what you really wanted to do as you were experimenting?
Here, like my junior year?
Yeah.
Honestly, no. But I feel like the exploration process itself kind of helped guide me and get me ready to be prepared for what I found along the way.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to have everything together and be there like immediately. Like things will come along, and it's about getting the fundamentals and the foundations of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that way, when the right passion or the right thing comes across, that you're ready for those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because like I said at the beginning, I was interested in video editing, which I still am, but I feel like I was interested in 3D modeling more, and I feel like I was able to experiment with the different types. Like I did like animation my senior year, and we had to like 3D animate like this whole roller coaster or whatever, and I enjoyed it, but I found out I don't want to do this type of 3D because it's just not what I'm interested in. Was it a fun experience? Sure. And I got to like edit it and everything, but I'm more or less just like still images because it's a lot less complicated. So yeah, you figure it out as you go. I mean, hey, if you graduate and you go to a college for a specific thing, that doesn't mean you have to stop the other things you're interested in. And I mean, honestly, people make changes all the time. You can go to a school and go for this specific program and then graduate and be like, I want to do this instead. Because I mean, like I said, we're still using Adobe products, and I came here, so I still applied. So
yeah,
it definitely helps.
Well, we do have to move along because I have to get downstairs here soon.
You gotta
very
patrol.
soon. Yeah. So we're going to move into That's Embarrassing.
Oh boy.
That's embarrassing.
I hope it's not me.
So I do have a surprise for you.
I sent this to him last night. I did it to myself.
Oh, nice.
We were dancing to this. We were doing a music video. Like, I think it was only got 4 minutes or something. I think it's by Madonna or something. I was just like chilling in front of the green screen, and he decided to do a fun little edit of me. So it makes me laugh every time I watch it. I forget about
That's funny.
it.
That is funny.
I wish the music was there, but that might be a copyright issue. So.
Well, if you have a funny or embarrassing story, would you like to share it?
Ooh, my whole life is a funny, embarrassing story.
The problem is I don't remember any of them. So does that really mean it's embarrassing if you don't remember
Just
it?
funny. I don't know. Oh, I had literally like something just happened to me not long, and I was like, oh my God, new embarrassing moment I could share.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I can't remember what it is now, and I never got to share it.
Hey, that's
Feel
embarrassing.
me.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is a good one, and I don't even remember what it was now.
I've got one that's coming to mind because you were talking paranormal stuff and
Okay.
ghost experiences. There was one moment where I was working on like a ghost hunting show for the Travel Channel.
Oh, really? Which one?
I don't know if I want to get into the name, but
I can't.
I was in the basement of Franklin Castle.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
I mean, there's been like over like 20 murders and whatnot that
Yep.
have happened there.
Nothing special.
No, but
Oh, they say all kinds of stuff about that. That's on my bucket list.
it's an interesting experience, especially to be by yourself
So
with
you
the
were
camera
down there
crew.
by yourself.
Yeah, so I'm like everyone else is setting up on another floor, and I was in the basement, and I just happened to hear a voice that says, "Get out and never come back," and it was just like I
Okay.
got that kind of chill where I was like, "Oh, this feels
was that
otherworldly."
clear.
Yeah, and I went up to the producer. I was like, "Hey, I know we're like the day before the end of this 2-week shoot, but I heard this voice, and they told me to get out and
Don't
never
come back.
And then they were like, "You believe in ghosts?"
Then why are we here?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was
No, you're like, okay,
"Eh."
we'll get the shot and then we'll leave. Don't
Yeah.
worry, we won't come back. We just gotta finish this.
Right? But no, it was one of those days where I was like,
So what?
"Do I believe now?"
well, what was you doing exactly? Was you like setting up a mic, or did you?
For that one, I was clearing out a section of the basement that they were gonna do like an interview recreation sort of thing, where they'd walk through and explain what had happened in that
And that's
area.
when you heard it out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but that was also.
Was it like super loud, or was it kind of like distance?
It was almost like close, and like as if they were whispering right next to me, but there was no one right next to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
and it's one of those things where I'm like, maybe I just had heat exhaustion or something. It was a crazy day.
Just said,
but-
get out, don't
yeah,
come back. You know.
no, but I heard it clear as day, and I'm just like, wow, okay. And then I didn't come back the next day
Good.
because I was
Can
like,
we change
I'm out.
Can we
I'm
change
out.
the folder to "That's terrifying"?
right.
Wow, that's a good story. You got one besides your dancing?
I'm really trying to remember. Oh my gosh. Bobby, you always have funny stories. You always at least have funny stories of your coworkers, and you remember them.
So I won't say where. We were doing segments for our show, and I never actually noticed till we actually got back. But we had this weather girl interviewing one of the people for a store, and the guy kept getting closer and closer to her till he was like right up shoulder to shoulder, and there was a moment he kind of wrapped his arm around her, and I can just hear all the people losing it in my mic. I text him, I'm like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? He's like, can you not see how close he is to so-and-so? I look over, I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is pretty close. That's a little weird. So, like, I turned the camera, because it's all live, I turned the camera and I stuck my hand in between them to kind of separate them. And he gives it a weird look. I'm like, no, it's just to make it look better. But as the last part was the last 10 seconds, this guy just starts slowly inching closer back to her. I kept doing this. But I guess I wouldn't say
Is that another
embarrassing.
terrifying story?
Yeah, I guess it's another terrifying story. I was trying to
I think
of
we're
some
confused.
embarrassing.
It's dark humor. Come on.
I'm sure Duran's probably has a million stories.
I know
about
he
me.
needs to come out here because
Yeah.
he probably has so much embarrassing stuff on me. Yeah.
You got one?
Well, for me, I guess for like the first, like between when I was 8 and like 13, I've been scared of mirrors because you know Goosebumps.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They had like a Bloody Mary episode, and I was always scared of mirrors ever since.
Oh, no.
People
Now
just-
I'm not, but I was for a long
Did you
time.
creep yourself out in the mirror?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Bloody Mary was gonna take me.
Did people actually try to do Bloody Mary in middle school or elementary school when you're in school? Because
I think
I
so.
would be in the girls' restroom and the girls would turn off the lights and be like, shh, because they didn't want teachers knowing they were turning off the lights. And they'd be like, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
do that so-
And then all the kids would be like, stop, please.
Oh, my goodness.
We don't want to see Bloody Mary.
We don't see. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see her. Well, I'm going to have to. All right, shout outs real fast.
Ooh.
What does this mean?
This means you get to say hey to whoever you want.
It's shout out time.
Who wants to start?
All right, I'll start. Just a big shout out to everyone who's kind of helped me along the way. I'm not going to get specific. You know who you are. Yeah. No, seriously though, if this can be challenging trying to
Shout out to everybody.
make things and work on projects and meet so many different people, and I feel like the moments that you have with the friends that you make along the way honestly are some of the best parts of this job, and one of the things that keeps you coming back. So I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who just makes this possible. Yeah.
I guess I'll go next because we're just going in order. I guess I kind of the same aspect. I'd like to thank Duran for having us here, but also because he just helped me so much figure out what the heck I was doing with my life. Because, you know, he's here to really help you figure it out. Like, hey, you want to... He did not know much of anything about 3D modeling, but he was like, I'll help you figure it out. I'm going to help you figure it out if that's what you want to do. And he'll do it for you. He really will. And obviously, I had a lot of great teachers at TCTC, Mr. Livebag and Mr. Summers. You guys were great. Yeah, and also just everyone in my life that really just supported me through any changes I made and all my interests and just getting through life, kind of like what he said, because you need those support in your life, just like a little backbone to keep you going. So, yeah.
For a shout out for me, I guess would also be Duran. My TCTC class, my class at college. Thank you for all of them for helping me. Thank you for everyone at my work and helping me get better at what I do at the station. Hopefully I can use it to apply somewhere else, or maybe just stay there and apply what all I learned there.
I'd have to say a shout out to one of my best friends, Brian Singh. He lives in Canada, but working with him on his game has like helped me explore like my interests. Like, I think I'm a creative person, but I didn't really know how to get my ideas out, and he introduced me to all this stuff, like designing. So, he pretty much got me where I'm at now.
Nice. I'd like to shout out to all of you. Actually, making this podcast, I've heard about actually each one of you, and you kind of played in a little role into this, and now here you are sitting, getting to meet you, which is really awesome, by the way. I want to shout out to my new juniors. We had a little bit problems there, got it under control. That's that's the beginning.
It's all part of the process.
Yes, it's all part of the process. Mr. Duran, because he is awesome, and he's a great guy. So, but I gotta speed this up because I am late. So we are gonna bypass things to know before we go, and I have to go out of service.
Hey, no worries.
Okay.
So thank you very much for coming.
Yes, get to work.
Get to work.
Thank you.
There it is.
Right on time.
How about that?
Well,
Yeah,
Hey.
you're on